the Upco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for our weekly inbox segment. Your email questions, our answers here on video. Let's get right to it, Barry. Let's start with this one from John. John says, Tom Wort just doesn't seem to have the speed to keep up in the coverage against these offenses. Frank Shannon comes out and has a really good game at Texas Tech. Will we see more of him and less of Wort?
The answer is yes, we will. I think Tom Wort will still start at middle linebacker, follow protocol, and maybe even against Texas, we'll see a lot of Tom Wort because Texas can still try to run downhill pretty well. But more and more we're going to see Franklin Shannon because the Big 12 plays spread it out, throw it around football. Franklin Shannon is better suited to do that. He played very well at Tech. Tom Wort struggles against the pass game. Tom Wort played pretty well against Kansas State. Colin Klein running the ball, that kind of thing, that's right up his alley. But when the West Virginia, OSU, Baylor, all these teams that throw it around, Franklin Shannon will get the bulk of the time.
Yeah, Tom Wort seems like a guy that's maybe not as well equipped for these offenses, and that's part of it. The way the Big 12 is shaking out, you've got to have guys at all of those positions on the defense that can drop back in coverage and handle that. And the speedier you are, the more that helps. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it definitely gets there. Yeah, I think we see more Frank Shannon, less of Tom Wort as this year goes on. Back to the inbox, this one from Gary. Gary says, is Mack Brown going down the path that Bobby Bowden went, maybe staying too long to rebuild the program for the next guy, though it's not as though the program is in the toilet? Well, what do you think about that, Barry?
I don't think so. Now, it's possible. It's possible, but I do think this. Bobby Bowden sort of fell off and just kept Florida State on the same plateau for 6, 7, 8 years. Right. Mack Brown went down into the valley from the national title game to 5-7, but he's built it back up. 8-5, decent team last year. I think they're better this year. It looks to me like Texas football is on the rebound. We just hear about the rebound at Florida State. We are still hearing about the rebound at Florida State. We're just not seeing it. I think Texas is in better shape than Florida State.
Yeah, and I think that could be true. Yeah, Florida State losing to North Carolina State and crushing their national championship hopes. But if you can't beat North Carolina State, forget about national championship. Yeah, I don't think Mack's staying too long. I think there's definitely always going to be people at Texas that would say, let's get the next guy in. But clearly, he can still recruit talent, still recruit the state of Texas. Is he going to get every guy? No. But I think they still got talent. They were without that level of talent for a while, noticeably at the quarterback position. I think they've got that fixed. I think they're definitely going to win some games, and you're going to see a lot of improvement this year and probably in years to come for Texas. All right, back to the inbox. This one from Blake. Blake says, why does Chris Spielman and at least 5 other Big Ten alums all do college football sports commentary for ESPN? Is this not a conflict of interest at worst and extremely annoying at the least? What do you think about that, Barry?
I got to admit, I'd never thought about it at all until I saw the email. And after careful consideration, I have to say it doesn't bother me one bit. I don't know. I don't pay attention. Charles Davis went to Tennessee. He calls Big 12 games. I think he does a phenomenal job. I don't really care where a guy is from if he does a solid job.
Where did Gus Johnson go to school? It doesn't matter to me.
No, it's a good question.
And I love it.
Somewhere back east, probably.
Yeah.
The thing is, in basketball, we see the Big 12 is well represented in basketball. Fran Fraschilla, Dallas-based, and Doug Gottlieb, who played at OSU, all kinds of people. It's the quality of the work they do. Doesn't annoy me at all. I think way too often fans sort of detect
bias that is not there.
That mysterious bias. That it's not there. So I think there's way more things to worry about than that. I think most of the time these guys do about the same job as everybody else, which is mediocre. My problem is not their bias. My problem is they're mostly boring.
More exciting. Maybe that's where the Big Ten thing comes in. Not very exciting football in the Big Ten. I don't have a problem with it either. I will say, though, isn't that Cal Ripken's voice I hear on those Baltimore games in the baseball playoffs?
It certainly is.
Now that's a little bit interesting. All right, back to the inbox. This one from Shannon. Shannon says, if the left fielder, speaking of baseball, catches the ball, no one calls that an infield fly. Why? Because it's a fly ball to shallow left. Not even that shallow. It's the infield fly rule, not the infielder fly rule. Obviously, Barry, in reference to the baseball game of last week, the infield fly rule.
Well, a little bit too literal here by Shannon. Nothing in the rule says that an infield fly has to fall on the dirt. It can fall on the grass. It can be caught by outfielder, infielder. It's just a fly ball, a pop-up that an infielder can catch with ordinary effort. And that was actually the case. The St. Louis shortstop had the chance to catch that ball. He just broke away from it. The problem was the lateness of the call I think it was judged correctly, just judged too late, and that led to the chaos.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a wacky situation. And, you know, I think as much as anything, it was unfortunate for a lot of reasons, but it's unfortunate of anything because Chipper Jones playing his last game, and it felt like it was marred. Might have been the right call, might have been the wrong call, but I think that kind of got people as much as anything. You wanted to sort of celebrate that even if it was a Braves loss, and it just didn't feel like you could celebrate the end of his career. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.